to day 2 of AnsibleFest 2021. I'm Katie Piccarelli.
And I'm Walter Bentley. We're your hosts for this year's AnsibleFest, and if you missed even one session, I highly recommend that you check it out on demand.
But not yet, because we've got a schedule coming up that's packed with more announcements, demos, detailed information, great conversations with customers, as well as members of the Ansible community, and you won't want to miss a minute.
In case you missed it, the mic drop moment was the official announcement of the Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform 2, which I know many of you have been eagerly anticipating over the last year.
It's a huge announcement and a really big deal for all of us automation lovers. Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform 2 is much more than simply a tool. It really allows us to look at automation as a concept or a platform from which we can automate, innovate, and accelerate. So let's take a look at some highlights from that announcement and more.
We are officially announcing Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform 2.
Is now we can scale up, scale out, and execute automation as close to what we're automating, the infrastructure and applications we need to automate, and put it wherever we want.
And now we can see both required parameters to run setFact.
My journey of automation started when I stopped manually doing the same thing in a server and start writing scripts to make life easier.
We want to build not just for one role, but for automation that is easily created, shared, and managed across organizations and teams.
We are all the community. It takes you, it takes all of us to ultimately make better software and, even as cheesy as it may sound, change the world faster.
That was so much fun. Now that the secrets are out, we're going to take a look at what's new and what creators, administrators, and users can expect from Ansible Platform 2. We'll also let you know what's available right now and what's coming soon.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for some great information, including some great demos. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's going to be a great time.
Well, technically, you said it was going to be a good time, and I think it's going to be better than good, so I'm going to go with great.
Sure, absolutely, Walter. It's going to be a great time.
Look at us. We're collaborating here. And today's theme is automating in collaboration.
I love collaboration. It's one of my favorite parts of my job. And everything we're announcing at AnsibleFest this year is going to make collaboration even easier and better. I always find it so exciting to hear from organizations and teams and how they collaborate better.
Me too. And right now, we're going to hear about one of our customers' experience very soon. Joe Mills from Discover will be having a conversation with Tom Anderson. You won't want to miss it.
But first, we're going to hear from Kelly Fitzpatrick on making automation a critical strategy.
And then after that, I'll be back talking about Red Hat Insights for Ansible Automation Platform. And then we'll hit our first demo.
It's going to be busy, so let's get started with AnsibleFest 2021, Day 2.
Hello, and welcome to Day 2 of AnsibleFest 2021. My name is Kelly Fitzpatrick, and I am so excited that you are joining us for this session, where I will be talking about ways to make automation a critical strategy and support its success at your organization. A little bit about my perspective on tech and where it comes from. I am a senior analyst at Redmonk, and we are a developer-focused industry analyst firm, which means that we spend a lot of time following tech trends and that we tend to see the world through the perspective of developers specifically and practitioners more broadly. And while the tech industry has been catching up on acknowledging the role developers play in, say, tech adoption, one of our co-founders, Stephen O'Grady, wrote a book about it called The New Kingmakers all the way back in 2013. It's important to note that while I have a tech background, I have been a tech writer and I have run test and release teams, I have also taught at the university level, sometimes on technical topics and sometimes on literature. Which brings us to a premise that I'd like to start with. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a developer assigned a 5-minute task must be in want of a way to automate it. Some of you may recognize this as a play on a quote from Jane Austen, the English novelist and astute observer of human nature. More on her later. To me, This modified quote gets at the fact that developers, among other technical practitioners, have long recognized automation as a time and toil-saving tool. My own personal introduction to automation had to do with building, deploying, and testing software. And to this day, I remember the joy of writing my first automation script and also the combined pride and dread of knowing that that script was being used to make an actual product. While many of you may have similar stories, introducing automation initiatives across an entire organization, however, comes with the challenges. Even though in 2021, automation is widely recognized as a critical component of successful enterprise IT. A word about automation adoption. Often, but not always, the progression of automation adoption and other types of tech adoption, for that matter, goes something like this. Individual adoption. So for automation, that's technologists automating something that they don't ever want to do again. This often evolves into teams or groups using automation to solve specific problems, usually at a more tactical level, but sometimes there is some strategy involved. Now, ideally, the end result is that this evolves into a larger organizational strategy, hopefully a successful one at that. And what we see is that issues tend to arrive in the shift from that team to the organizational level. Now, one very important part of this progression of automation from individuals to teams to organization-wide strategy is communication and collaboration. As Richard Henschel noted in his AnsibleFest keynote in 2019, where he introduced the Ansible automation platform, collaboration with teams is simply not enough. He said, take that collaboration and evolve it into coordination. And coordination across an organization will help teams with different challenges and different goals achieve a common good. We can talk about tech stacks and processes, but when we're talking about a strategy to achieve the common good and to do so through more coordinated patterns of collaboration, we are very much talking about the people involved. And to my mind, it is in fact the people at your organization that are going to get you to that organization-wide coordination that you need for your automation strategy to be successful. So let's talk about some of the challenges that we see organizations run into. And on one other note, the conversations we've been having around automation make one thing clear, that automation adoption is not a one-size-fits-all endeavor. Keep this in mind as I talk through some of the key challenges we've heard from folks developing their automation strategies, with each challenge directly followed by some solutions I ask you to consider as you determine what will work best for your business and your people. The first automation challenge I want to talk about is apprehension and apathy. While most of you are already familiar with the benefits of automation, talking about automation at a given organization can often be a lot like kicking off your AnsibleFest talk with a Jane Austen quote. Some of you not only get the reference, but appreciate it in its weird punctuation and have seen it used in other contexts. Some of you know exactly what book it is from and can probably quote other passages from the same book. Some of you may have heard about Jane Austen, but are not familiar with her work, or maybe your associations with her work are not all positive. In the same way, automation is not a positive word for everybody. For some folks, it conjures up fear of being replaced by automation and losing their jobs. For others, it recalls bad experiences with automation. Think of the automated customer service lines that you have wasted hours of your life on trying to get in touch with a human. Apathy can also be as harmful as fear. In most organizations, there is a mix of developer experience levels ranging from, say, early career developers to folks who are on their 8th or 9th round of app modernization and the ennui that goes with that. Many of these folks have learned to wait and see if this newest technology initiative is going to actually follow through on the promises that it makes. In order to counter apprehension and apathy, your automation strategy has to involve both persuasion and education, and should understand them as not just about building the business case and convincing the folks in charge to invest in automation, although this is important. Someone needs to pay for all of this. But it also has to be about convincing individual practitioners that it is not just all hype. Also, strategy does not have to always be a top-down judgment. And in fact, individual contributors often have really good candidates for automation that folks at higher levels in an organization don't know about. When talking about automation, be sure to stress how it is good not only for the organization and the business, but how it can make things better for people. Your methods of persuasion can include numbers. You can talk about the reduced time spent on tasks or reduced time waiting for someone else to complete a task that you need. But also be sure to go beyond numbers. You can talk about the tediousness of tasks that can be automated away or the timing involved in the completion of those tasks. And do not be afraid to demonstrate with relatable use cases. As an example, please indulge me in an anecdote about my cat. And of course, virtual talk etiquette in 2021 dictates that if I mention a pet, I must show a picture of that pet. And so I present Ishka, my very cute cat, pictured here supervising my work. She was not so cute, however, a few months into 2020 when she started batting me awake every day at 4 a.m., wanting to be fed. Nowadays, I assume that she is super cute batting the automated cat feeder at 4 a.m., but I would not know because humans are no longer required for said 4 a.m. feedings. If automation can make my and my cat's life better, imagine what it can do for the enterprise. Moving on to our next automation challenge, skills gaps. You do not have to be an analyst to know that new technologies and processes require new skill sets. While not everyone in your organization needs to be a principal automation engineer, an automation strategy has to be not only about how to get things automated and keep that automation updated, but also about how folks beyond automation specialists can see and leverage the benefits of automation. And of course, you also do need humans there who understand and can help improve your automation stack, tools, and processes. For a strong and healthy organization, your people are your greatest resource. And to address skills gaps, any successful automation strategy requires training, which is about the onboarding of new team members, and upskilling, which is about leveraging existing talent. Your automation strategy should also plan for adequate time and resources so that neither training nor upskilling are an afterthought or something done off work hours. As a bonus, talent retention is easier if your org creates advancement pathways and gives folks the tools they need to follow them. And as another bonus, more folks are going to want to work for you if you use the tech they want to use and know that the skills they are investing in are valuable beyond their current job. And automation does fall into that category of skills. The final challenge I want to talk about today is sprawl and fragmentation. Organic growth across an organization very often results in sprawl. This makes it difficult to understand what is even out there, much less what can be automated, much less what should be automated. It also often leads to fragmentation across teams and lines of business, resulting in different tools, tech stacks, sometimes even standards and methodologies, even within a given organizational silo. Both also help contribute to what we call the developer experience gap, which has to do both with the proliferation of choices developers and teams have in the tools and processes they use to build software, as well as the often disjointed experiences that result when these tools and processes are cobbled together with the technical equivalent of duct tape. Sprawl and fragmentation are often very big problems and ones where coordination across an organization are absolutely critical. And while there is no magic wand that will fix these issues, two mitigating forces that you want to incorporate into your automation strategy are 1, integration, which is about getting all the pieces that you have to work together, and 2, curation, which is about presenting optimal tech, tooling, and process choices to the people who need them. Thinking of your automation strategy in terms of integration and curation will help you understand what can and should be automated. It will help you clarify what changes may need to be made before automation even takes place. In other words, you want to make sure something is working the way you want it to be working before you automate it. It will also help you navigate both new and existing investments to select the best tech for your automation efforts. On the human side of things, integration and curation efforts can help convince teams to use prescribed paths without staunching their creativity. And as we know, devs often don't like to be told what to use. One practice we are seeing more is the creation of golden paths or approved pathways of doing things that do not limit all choice, but create a more curated experience for everyone involved. Indeed, creating more curated and integrated experiences often means that you can bring in folks in different roles from across an organization to leverage and help refine automation more fully. So we have hit the end of my talk on making automation a critical strategy, and I want to thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. The good news is that you still have a lot of AnsibleFest 2021 ahead of you. Up next, you'll hear from Discover about how they very successfully made automation a critical strategy. And I, for one, am looking forward to the main stage session at the end of the day on communities of practice. As you take in all of this automation goodness, I wish you the very best in building and implementing an automation strategy that is right for your organization, not just on a technical level or a business level, but also on a human one.
Tom Anderson, Vice President of Product Management for the Ansible Automation Platform at Red Hat. As organizations expand and become more distributed, automation strategy has become essential to delivering quality customer experience. Discover has used a strategy of extreme automation to help meet their needs, and I'm really excited to have Joe Mills here today to discuss their journey with me. Joe, can you introduce yourself and your team and share with us what initiated this strategy?
Yeah, well, thank you, Tom, and thanks for having me here. So my name is Joe Mills. I am a Director of BT Strategy and Transformation at Discover. Extreme automation is a BT-led but company-sponsored aspiration that every manual process at Discover should be understood, optimized, automated, or eliminated. Over the past several years, our company has seen just an incredible amount of growth, both in our product offerings and in market share, which requires a tremendous operational rigor behind the scenes to maintain this growth. And when you think about a company of our size and the processes that make it up, it really begins to dawn on you just how important automated activities are to our success. And especially in an industry like financial services, which is highly regulated, the ability to create predictable, consistent processes is our key to unlocking the ability to innovate and continue this growth trend. Now, our CIO joined 2 years ago, and he launched a transformation that was aimed to shift us into a product-based organization with fundamental pillars like reliability, tech optimization, and automation underpinned everything about how we do this successfully. So within automation, we already had a tremendous amount of organic automation happening in pockets, but a holistic push towards a culture of extreme automation had not yet been set. And so we had a set of automation products that each team was scaling in their own areas, but the connectivity between all of these from a company lens was not there. So what we did is we created a dedicated program that led this accelerated push. And this program spans across 4 key pillars. And those pillars consist of CI/CD, BT process automation, business process automation, and a cultural enablement function underpinning everything we do. Now, within each pillar, we have senior leaders that are accountable for this cohesive strategy, really focused on accelerating automation across their areas. Now, within each pillar, in addition to a leader owning it, we have very ambitious qualitative and quantitative goals. And those are both from, hard cost savings, we have reliability, we have mean time to resolve, risk avoidance, deployment velocity, where we're gauging progress in really rallying excitement, with pushing the status quo across automation. Now, our team has been busy doing a lot of the work. In several areas where we've been focusing on are creating communities for each automation product, especially a holistic one where automation as a whole is being pushed across the company. We're driving high value use cases across the firm. We've been creating playbooks for approaching problems with use of automation, scaling tools and products across the company as well, and sharing successes along the way to continue this excitement and rally that we've been seeing the last 2 years. We've seen a lot of lift the past 2 years, but this is just the beginning, and I cannot wait to see what the next 2 years unfold for us, Tom.
Oh, that's great. So I'm sure with an initiative this bold, everybody was 100% on board right from the get-go, right, Joe? What were some of the inhibitors, and how did you get buy-in from the rest of the organization?
Yeah, no, this transformation has been extremely successful, but that does not come without hiccups or some constraints to move over. So I would say the first one for us was organizational buy-in and alignment on direction. This to us, we've actually had a lot of success that we had output metrics really gauging the success of our program, that made sense, and they were known across the organization that no one could argue with. So that was a huge enabler for us. Now, in addition, we had each pillar being assigned a functional leader within our technology organization that was accountable for the success of that work stream. So we had leaders that own the work, that were accountable for this transformation, and that has been extremely successful. Now, in addition, we've had structures in place to manage this very complex transformation. We meet very, regularly. We showcase progress and success, and we keep moving it forward as a cohesive transformation. Also pace of change, right? That's another hurdle we've overcome. With a lot of other competing priorities and initiatives and transformations, how do you get the forefront of what we do? Now, because we have such a strong output metric and measure of success for what extreme automation can do, it really helped prioritize our effort across the company. And our CEO and CIO were the biggest advocates of this coming to life. So that has been a tremendous support and one of the biggest enablers for us. And the last thing for us is just the ability to identify and deliver on these opportunities, having extreme automation come to life. And so what we've done is, we've had coordination across existing organic product teams in evangelizing and showing what they've been doing at a product level across the organization, which has really taken hold and elevated their work to a higher level and showcased the amazing work they've been doing in pockets, but now at an enterprise level. So that is, for us, has been, an amazing, hurdle to overcome, and we've seen tremendous success the last 2 years.
That's great, really comprehensive. So how does your organization ensure the right problems are being addressed by the right people?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've done that in a few ways, and I want to showcase a couple tools and techniques that we've done. The first is what we call our MADs, or Manual Activity Diagnostics. I love acronyms. And so what this technique is we will go into a functional area within our technology organization and evaluate all of the manual work that team does, all of the non-engineering tasks, and we see how we can solve it with automation. Now, once we have done a number of those across the technology organization, we were starting to see common problems and common non-engineering tasks that we can replicate and repeat across the company. In addition, from a business side, we've worked with those closest to the strategy as well as the finance to find the right problems, find the right people, and then us being able to meet them where they're at and enable the right tool to come to life. And so that has been a tremendous amount of success doing summits with our chief of staffs as well as finance CFOs in each area to understand and prioritize their highest business problems across the company. In addition, we have an automation guild, and this is our community of practice for extreme automation, where it's made up of very passionate experts in automation capabilities across our company. And what's been happening is we've been bringing problems to that organization, that community, where they swarm and they help identify what products should come to life in the right area. And this has been a tremendous amount of success for us too, finding the right tool to meet the right business problem and technology problem at the right time.
Great. Communities of practice. I love that concept. It's something that we use here at Red Hat. So let's talk about the benefits. What are some of the benefits that Discover found using automated, repeatable solutions?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have seen quite a few successes. The first and foremost is just our ability to develop and deploy faster. And so, when you have repeatable solutions, we can pick it up and replicate in other areas much quicker, and it advances our deployment frequency. In addition, we've seen a lot of ROI from our development investments, right? Better and broader use cases. In addition, one of the unique things we've seen is more involvement from our non-engineers, right? When you have repeatable solutions, being able to replicate across the organization, you find creative usages of those repeatable solutions across this. And so that has been really successful for us to see and share that. So in addition, we've seen a lot of that come to life through, being able to automate tasks for our agents, right? So within our call center agents, they're one of our most valuable resources and teammates across the company. In freeing up time where they're going and copying and pasting manual notes between systems, where they could be spent talking to our extremely valuable customers on the phone and helping them problem solve. We've been freeing up their time. In addition, we've got very, skilled and talented workforce within our accounting world where they're doing reconciliations manually. We're automating those tasks, has been tremendously successful to elevate them to focus on the work that they're best suited for and that their skill set's best aligned to. So we've seen a lot of success come from a lot of pockets across the organization.
That's great. So how have you demonstrated your success with automation to the rest of Discover so everybody knows what's happening?
Yeah, and we've done a lot within this space. And the first is with town halls. I am sure our company has heard quite a bit about extreme automation from me and my team, but we have been advertising and evangelizing the wins across the entire company through town halls. In addition, we have an internal SharePoint site that we've been posting articles and use cases for our wins across the company. In addition, we're trying to highlight the work of our engineers and process me's through those articles, through more come and sees and floor walks where they're sharing their wins across the organization. In addition, we have published scorecards that we advertise very, very openly of how we're progressing against our very ambitious goals for extreme automation. The last one I want to highlight is we have, again, the Automation Guild or Community of Practice, where we have champions. We have automation champions or evangelists who are sharing the wins across the organization, making sure people know the priority and the importance of automation across the board. So there's been no shortage of us evangelizing the wins, showcasing the progress across the company, and we're going to have more coming from that in the future.
Love it. Sharing successes and the story. That's great. So what does the future look like for automation to Discover, Joe, as you think about scaling this out completely across the organization?
Yeah, and we're going to keep the trajectory we're going, and we're accelerating at a fast pace now. So if I look forward 2 years, in the next year or two, I can see several things. The first, I can still see automation consisting of both centralized and embedded automation engineers delivering on high value opportunities, right? Both within a product world as well as a central crew testing and learning new and evolved technologies. And with that evolved technology, I can see us really leveraging more of our data as it becomes more consumable and accessible across our organization, right? Elevating those platforms to be able to consume more data and really take advantage of the more advanced technologies we have available to us. In addition, right, I can see our sub-guilds within our automation guild, so our community of practice, really driving towards the same mission. So if you look back, we used to do things in silos. Now we're doing it as a holistic company, pushing extreme automation as a whole. So all of those come to life, and that's where I can see the next 2 years going for us is just an accelerated push, and we're going to do some amazing things.
That's great. Thank you again for your time, Joe. It's really interesting. Extreme automation is a fascinating concept, and I'm excited to see how Discover can push it forward in the future.
That was great. It was so inspiring to hear about Discover's plans for scaling automation organization-wide. That conversation with Discover is a great example of why we love working with our customers and partners, and how working together with customers help us advance our products so that we can deliver better solutions to all kinds of enterprises and organizations. Companies that aspire to use Ansible Automation Platform throughout their organization really highlight the important role of analytics, how critical data can be to scaling automation throughout the enterprise. When we launched Ansible Automation Platform in 2019, we added automation analytics as a way to aggregate data about Ansible automation running organizationally. At Red Hat Summit this year, we announced how automation analytics was joining the Red Hat Insights family, and we would continue to take advantage of the shared knowledge structure built on the Insights platform. Customers and partners told us that they needed a way to interpret data more quickly and collaborate and share knowledge across what are sometimes fragmented departments. Red Hat Insights for Ansible Automation Platform makes it easier for IT teams to identify what is important within their data so that they can take action more quickly and in alignment with strategic goals. Insights for Red Hat Enterprise Linux continuously analyzes across platforms to predict risk, recommend actions, and predict costs so that you can remediate potential issues proactively and use resources more effectively. We are extending these features to support your Ansible automation platform deployments. From an automation execution perspective, Insights can help you track and troubleshoot job success and measure how teams are coordinating automation processes across IT. That also makes it easier to communicate about the value of automation projects and the return on investment of automation initiatives. Red Hat Insights for Ansible Automation Platform provides visibility into what automation is being used across your organization so that you can identify the most beneficial automation use cases and what may need attention. Day-to-day, users can focus less on fixing automation problems and more on meaningful work like supporting new features and automation capabilities. For those designing and deploying automation initiatives, Insights for Ansible helps keep automation processes running optimally. You can pinpoint where specific automation jobs might be failing and report on automation projects across the entire infrastructure. With a visual dashboard collecting statistics across the different teams, Insights for Ansible can provide health notifications about automation clusters, such as how they are being used and when nodes are down. Overall, Insights uses data to keep teams informed about automation running across their organization. There is so much more to Insights for Ansible Automation Platform. It is available now. Go try it on Red Hat Hybrid Cloud Console. The next demo will provide a closer look at Automation Controller and how it works with Automation Hub and Red Hat Insights.
Hello and welcome to AnsibleFest 2021 virtual event. I'm Matt Jones and we are so excited that you are joining us for this demo. In this demo, we're going to take collections and execution environments that you've seen before, and we're going to take them through Automation Hub, Automation Controller, and Red Hat Insights and show you how all of that comes together to make a seamless experience. And with that, I'm going to hand you over to Roger Lopez.
Thank you, Matt. My name is Roger Lopez. I'm a technical marketing manager at Red Hat. And today for this demo, I'm part of the operations team responsible for making sure our main data center is in tip-top shape. In the previous demo, Colin's developer team created an execution environment and playbook so that we can put this banana threat to rest. I must say, I feel pretty good about it. Now I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to apply the execution environment and Ansible playbook to the main data center using Ansible Automation Controller and Ansible Private Automation Hub. The first thing I want to do is get Colin's content posted from Private Automation Hub, synchronized to our Ansible Automation Controller instance so I can start running jobs. You can think of Ansible Automation Controller as our automation orchestrator. It's what allows all our users across our organization to easily collaborate on all our automation in one centralized place. To start, I'm going to add the Private Automation Hub into our controller via the Credentials tab. And here I will provide the details such as the name, credential type, the authentication URL of Private Automation Hub, and its username and password. And I only have to do this once, and any future jobs will have this already configured. In fact, if we go to the Credentials tab, you'll see that information already in place. So let's do that. If we click here, and we go to our Hub registry credential, and we click Edit, we can actually go off and see we have the name set up, we have our organization, we have the credential type, container registry, our authentication URL, and then the admin username and password set up. And just like that, I now have made the controller aware of our Private Automation Hub instance that is locally hosting all our Ansible content. The beauty of being able to use Private Automation Hub is it simplifies the collaboration process to push automation content and deliver it within our organization. With just a few clicks, I can now take Colin's approved Ansible playbook and execution environment and incorporate it into any of my existing workflows in a matter of minutes. So let's put that plan in action. The first thing I need to do is sync Colin's execution environment from Automation Hub to our production automation controller. To do this, I click on the execution environments section that's found in the left navigation, and then I would essentially click add, and within add I would give the name, the image, which includes the container registry, the image name and its version tag, as well as the registry credentials. And here I have an example of what that looks like. So if we go off to our Banana Ops EE, which is our Banana Ops execution environment, you can actually go off and see that we have all these pieces in place. We have its name, the image, which contains the URL that we need. We need the Banana Ops, and then also the tag, which is latest. Next, we want to create a job template that's going to use the execution environment and provide the playbook to run against my main data center inventory to mitigate the banana threat. Because reality is, who likes banana threats? When creating the template, I need to fill out our typical information, such as the name, the inventory used for my main data center, the project repository that has the new playbook, the execution environment that contains the security collection, and finally the playbook that fixes the threat using the collections found within the execution environments. Once we have that all squared away, I can just simply click save. So to do that, we can go to our job template. And here we have this banana patchworm patch. And within this patch that we've already included here, you can see that it has the inventory set up for the main data center, the project banana stand ops. And if you notice, it has the execution environment that we've already included. And then finally, we can go off and click save to make sure that we have this patch ready to go. Now with the execution environment synchronized and the job template built and ready to go, our last step is to simplify and add the new job template to our existing workflow. So clicking on our workflow job template, we can enter the visualizer mode that breaks down the process of how these jobs will be executed. All we need to do here is highlight the first line and click the plus icon. So if we go to our workflow job template, manage banana stack, I can go off and click visualizer. And here within visualizer, I can go off and see the two job templates that are part of my workflow. And now I want to include this new patch. So I click on this particular line here and click the plus sign. I then go off and add the patch to the banana worm, and I can click save. And then I click save within my visualizer. And if I go back to the visualizer, I can see now that the manage banana stack workflow contains everything I need: the patch banana worm, the manage Node.js, and the resolve support ticket. So we have now that whole entire workflow ready to go. I now have that banana fix in place in our main data center. And to step back for a second as to why this is vital, think about what was just done. I was able to take an execution environment that contained the security collection I needed to tackle this banana threat, create a new job with a playbook that contained the fix, and all I had to do was patch my workflow to execute against it. If a new threat would ever poke its head again, all that would be needed is to sync an execution environment with the proper roles or collections, apply the fix with a playbook, use job templates to any of my existing jobs, workflows, or even any new created job or workflow. All right, with the threat put behind us, what if I want to know more details about the job that ran? That's where Red Hat Insights can help. I can filter it within Red Hat Insights. The first thing I see when I go to Red Hat Insights is the overview page. So we click here, we see our overview page. Here I'll get a list of all the different clusters I've allowed Insights to collect data from, as well as it provides me information like notifications or any critical issues or warnings that may have triggered over time. By clicking the View Job Explorer, I can actually see the different jobs that have run from our controller node, as well as quick snippets of its status, cluster, organization, and the type of job that it was. So here, if we click on status and we go to cluster and we go to our controller, we can actually see the different jobs that we have that have run within our Ansible automation controller. And actually, if I click on this arrow, we can even further see things such as when it was created, when it was started, finished, and how many hosts it has. And then, of course, if we actually click on one of the jobs, we can actually see an example of the output that we would be seeing from Red Hat Insights. And in here, we have essentially the output. And if we wanted to drill down further, we can click on one of these job templates, for example, Manage Node.js, and click on it and get output directly from it. If I quickly click on one of the reports, such as the changes made by job template, I can view the total count of changes made by each job template in a specified time period. This can give you insights to ensure which job templates are doing the most changes to your infrastructure and keep track to ensure the correct number of changes are being made. For example, if I go off and look at these templates over here, you can see different template names and how they're impacted with their different task counts, as well as the total amount of tasks that could be automated. And we can actually even filter further by clicking out, for example, the status here. We can change and filter by cluster. And we can also filter by our specific cluster, which was called controller. And we can actually see the different template names that were impacted in our Ansible automation controller when we were doing our patching of our banana stand. So this can give you the insights you need to ensure which job templates are doing the most changes to your infrastructure and keep track to ensure the correct number of changes are being made. And now that I've mitigated the security issue to the main data center, we need to remediate all our remote sites and branch offices, which can be a daunting task. In our next demo, you'll learn how to push these fixes worldwide in a reliable way using Ansible Automation Platform. Thanks for watching. And remember, make sure to check out our live Q&A session to get all your questions answered. And it's a great way to check out these new features out there that are an awesome way to check out Ansible Automation Platform. Thanks.
Katie, what are you doing over here?
Hey, Walter. Those are some pretty intense sessions. There was a lot to take in and learn, and I was just thinking about all the new things.
In a good way, right?
Definitely in a good way. And that demo, introducing Automation Controller with Hub and Insights, totally blew me away. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who can't wait to try it.
Absolutely. And I love Kelly's take on making automation a critical strategy. The more organizations take on this mindset, the better automation experience and outcomes will be.
It's been a very cool AnsibleFest already, and we're not done.
There's more?
Oh, there's more. But before we get to our upcoming keynotes, demo, and customer community spotlights, it's breakout time.
You mean like break time? Like take a break time?
No, I mean breakout time. Now's your chance to check out some breakout sessions or even a live Q&A and ask some automation experts some questions. So it's breakout time. It's a thing.
Well, if it wasn't a thing before, it certainly is now. Well, enjoy your breakout time or your live Q&A, and we'll see you in another session. Where's my chair?